Hi there. My name is Tim Matthieson. I'm a resident of Kitsilano, very close by where this proposed rezoning is scheduled or being asked to occur. I'll try not to go over all the things that Bill Thielman so eloquently spoke of earlier, but for me, the main issue here is no one is talking about the children. A lot of talk by the BC Housing and by the city and by NPA Society about the facility is going to have this, the facility is going to do that. A fellow called in earlier and said, housing unhoused people saves lives. God knows that's true. But at what cost? The NPA Society suggested that they have multiple facilities around the area that are close to schools. And when asked how close, they said 500 meters, which is a third of a mile. So this is 20 meters from a school with 450 students, St. Augustine's Middle School, right across the street. So I think that's the cost that we have to consider. What is the danger to these children? This facility is, let's put it this way. In our neighborhood, I don't think there's 140 or 145 people on any block on both sides of the street. So it's not very dense. There's apartments, there's townhouses, few condos, but it's in homes, private homes. And so it's not very dense. There's Delamont Park, which is a toddler's park, which would be directly across from this, where young families, young mothers and fathers take their toddlers to their first experience on playthings, and these things would be put into jeopardy depending on the occupants of this facility. But 140 people dropped into one facility that is this big at an intersection which can't support the traffic. Arbutus is very busy. 7th Avenue is a one-lane roadway and a bikeway. So it's just too many people right in the middle of a community that has been designed basically for children. The St. Augustine's School has plans to grow to 750, 800 people by extending it, I think, to high school. I think that's probably been approved. So they're going to get bigger. To drop 140 people across the street from them, I think would seriously imbalance the neighborhood. When asked at a previous session, what kind of interview process do the people go through? What questions are asked about their criminal record or?
Point of order.
Councillor Swanson, I'll just pause you there, Speaker. Go ahead, Councillor Swanson.
I don't think it's. I think you should caution the speaker about assuming that these folks have a criminal record.
Speaker, what we just heard from our legal department yesterday is we can talk about occupying the building, but not occupants. So your initial comments were bang on, but as we move to talking about the occupants of the building or potential occupants, our legal team has said that that's we shouldn't go there. So if you can just stay on the same track you were on, I think we'll be in good shape.
Just a point of procedure, Mayor.
Sure, Councillor Dejanova.
Do we still have to state the section of the procedure bylaw when we call a point of order, or not in this meeting?
I think I will take the prompt from Councillor Swanson. As I said at the beginning of the meeting, I would, but you're right.
Just wanted to know in case I had one later on. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Yes. So Councillor Swanson and others in the future, let's try to state the procedural bylaw section that we're quoting. Speaker, sorry for that interruption. Please continue.
Thank you. The point I was raising was that in a similar facility to house the homeless in Olympic Village, I spoke with Deputy Chief Counsel Howard Chow, who said he was not asked to give any information or any advice about this proposed building. The police department was not contacted and didn't enter in any information about that. The ratio of calls before and after the building in in the Olympic Village raised 1,700%, I'm sorry. So it is, I think, critical to this situation to find out who's going to be in this place and how they're going to behave, and how they will interact with 450 to 800 students across the street. Um, it, I think more than anything, we're a community that wants to be involved in this process. I would ask the council to turn this proposal down and to begin again with the community, maybe even ask the Santa Maria House that's run by the church, the St. Augustine Church in that area. They have tremendous experience in this field, in this area, and they could easily, they're right next door, they could easily build a facility there that they could control and they could handle. And I think that would be of greater import and greater satisfaction to the community. I also think that I think that we have felt in the community that we have not been allowed in. This was a fait accompli presented to us. It's going to be this kind of building and it's going to be this tall. And it was like we really had no input. Okay, so they dropped 10 rooms and they changed the height, not of the building, but just of a sort of something that stuck up above it. And I don't think that's satisfactory. The other things of
I think you are at the end of your 5 minutes, but you do have
Okay.
a question from Councillor Hardwick. Councillor
Okay.
Hardwick, please go ahead.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Councillor.
So you started off talking about the children, the proximity, the vulnerability. Then you sort of segued into talking about the neighborhood and lack of input. And throughout there also talked, I think, about the height and massing of the building. That's a 1, 2, 3. Is it any one of those things? Is it the combination of the three? As we try and see a path forward, are there priorities among those three? Could you elaborate a little further on your reasoning?
I think the thing that is of greatest import, because I think the community does want to welcome people in need into our community and to give them a great opportunity to recover from their homelessness or any physical conditions or mental conditions that they're suffering. I think that the volume and height of the facility that they're proposing is the key impediment for most of the people I've talked to, some of the people I've talked to, and that it's so large on such a small site that it invades the standard setbacks that even a high-rise apartment building would have, a condo building. They would have a greater setback from the street. They would have a greater setback from the property line. They'd have wider sidewalks. This has not been taken into consideration in this specific instance. So I think that the density of it and the size of the building are the critical elements here.
You talked about the neighborhood input. Have you had any other experience with neighborhood input in these kinds of rezonings?
No, I've not.
Just wondering what people compare it to when they think about what a neighborhood process would look like. So anyhow, that really answers my questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.